I see that your shelf is overflowing over there.
Yeah. It's bad. And then I have this whole thing filled too.
Nice.
And
Fun
then I just
stuff.
ordered 3 more books. So
Nice. Did you order Brimstone?
I ordered that. I ordered
Again.
Crown Tide by Alexis, and then I just ordered one that came out that's in the Inheritance game series.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I ordered Crown Tide, that one, and then the last book of The Stars Are Dying come on the same day. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Like, what do I read first? But I want to reread both of them before I read the last. Well, Crown Tide isn't the last book, is it? No. Is it?
Is it?
Is it?
Why do I feel like it is? Because she's promoting another book for a different series.
Crown Tide is the fourth and final main novel in the Lightlark saga. So it is the last one. So then, okay, so then I definitely have to reread all the other books. Because, like, Sky Shade was so confusing that I'm like, I feel like I need to reread at least that one to know what's happening.
I think Nightshade is still my favorite because it focuses on Isla and Grimm. And Alex Astor said that Nightshade was her favorite until she wrote Crown Tide, and now Crown Tide's her favorite. So, Liz Tomfordy. I don't actually know how. I keep saying Tom Ford, but then I heard other people say Tomfordy, so I don't really know. But I mentioned that In Her Own League is coming out. Like, it's Monty and Reese's book, and from the Windy City series, kind of. But she just revealed the cover. And it's interesting because it's like Reese and Monty looking. Okay, so the series takes place in Chicago, and all of the covers are somewhere in Chicago, and they're like really pretty. Okay. And then Reese and Monty's cover is like them outside of Chicago looking at the city.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's so cute because it's like wrapping up the Windy City series and all the characters within it.
Okay, this is reading between the lines. We're both emotionally unstable, but that's okay because we're doing it together. So go team.
I've been waiting for this day for like 2 months. We are talking about the From Blood and Ash series, primarily the Primal Blood and Bone, which just came out in September. If you have not read that series, you need to leave because
also
we're major gonna spoil.
If you haven't read the Flesh and Fire series and you plan to, which is the prequel to From Blood and Ash, there might be some spoilers in this for that as well.
Yeah, true, because we haven't talked about that yet. Yeah, that definitely ties into the Primal Blood and Bone for sure. Yeah. So that's what we're talking about today, which, again, I've been waiting for so long to talk about this. Okay. Literally been dying. It's fine.
You see that stack of books right there? That's all from Flesh and Fire and From Blood and Ash, and it's my Jennifer L. Armentrout books.
She is the author that I think I have the most books of, even out of ACOTAR. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so I have 16 from Sergio Mas. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, it's the same.
Wow.
That's crazy. Except it's going to be more because, well, for both of them, because we're going to get ACOTAR 6, and then we're going to get the last book from Blood and Ash, which that one's actually coming out sooner than ACOTAR 6, because we have no idea when ACOTAR 6 is coming out.
When is that coming out?
September. Nope. Spring 2026.
That's like in a few months.
I know, because this is what happened. She wrote it all. So what happened was this was going to be the final book, right?
Yeah.
And then, like, 3 months before it was supposed to be published, she was like, I couldn't get it all in one book. It was going to be this, like, huge book, and it was going to be too big, and it was, like, not enough. I couldn't finish it in this last book, so then I'm going to make it be 7 books instead of 6. Yeah, 7 books instead of 6. So, honestly, I don't know. I mean, how she ended this one was perfect. If this is how, like, if that was just in the middle of a book, and we found that out, and then the book ended, I feel like it would be a little anticlimactic.
Yeah.
But this was very climactic. Okay. Earth-shattering.
Yes.
Screaming, crying.
I also, okay, I know we've talked about this off the pod, but I wasn't shocked. Like, it didn't shock me. I mean, I didn't like see it, like I wasn't like, oh, this is gonna happen, but like when it happened, I was like, that makes so much sense.
Okay, no, dude, okay. So let's get into it. So basically, we've been seeing this like weird, not weird, but like she made little like references to Castile's like weird side, right? And while Poppy was in stasis, he was, beside himself because duh, that's his, what are they? Heartmates? Is that what they are? Yeah. So I get it. But she kept making reference to like Kieran kept saying like, don't lose your shit, basically. Don't lose your shit. Like, don't go crazy. Don't whatever. And I was like, what's the big deal? We like when Castile goes crazy. What?
Yes. And also the fact that the Fates weren't worried about Poppy going crazy, but worried about Castile going crazy because of Poppy. Like they sent a babysitter to watch over him when she was gone in that other realm.
Yeah.
Because they're like, he is gonna do something. Like, we're worried about him destroying the realms, not you.
Because they
because
they knew what he was gonna be. And I don't understand how you weren't shocked. I was so shocked. Like I knew there was something, like I had a feeling there was something about his past or something about him or there was gonna be something, right? But I did not realize he was going to be the primal god of death and destruction.
Yeah.
I
Also,
still haven't wrapped my head around it.
I thought that Addie's, is that how you say his name?
Addie's, I think is how I said it. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna say that then. I don't know if it's right. But for a split second there, I thought Addie's was gonna be like his actual dad. And that his dad wasn't like his actual dad.
Really?
Yeah.
I was interested to see, well, because at the beginning this guy just showed up and you're like, who the heck are you? And I was like, once we found out, because he's his uncle? No.
Grandfather. I don't think Castile would ever hurt Poppy, even if he's like in this other state of mind. Like he's in this state of mind because Poppy was hurt.
But it's giving Xaden.
Yeah, but I also don't think Xaden's gonna hurt Violet. So I feel like Castile might have like more control because we didn't like see his mind, right? It was just like Kieran's POV of like what he saw like as Castile, right?
Yep.
And he said that Castile was more annoying, basically, than usual. But he wasn't like, oh, he went on this like killing spree, like he's out of control. Like it wasn't, he was kind of like, I think he used the word asshole. He's like, he's more of an asshole now. And Addie's is there looking after him too. So I'm really not that worried about him. But I also don't understand why Poppy can't just pop and be like, I'm alive, like we're good, everything's fine.
Because she's with Colas. That's why.
No, she's not.
Yes, she is.
Colas was like killing her. You're right. You're right in thinking that. But then another person comes and then like she passes out. And I'm pretty positive it's in Kieran's POV. So you just have to be like, go to the last chapter. But he says that she is resting in Elysium with Nixos and Syrah. It makes sense why you were so distraught after this book. I was like, I don't really see the big deal. Like, yeah, a lot happened, but
she's alive then. She was. That's all that matters. It was and it wasn't, okay? If she's in Elysium, she's with family then.
Okay, but Addie's is with Castile now, and he was with Poppy. So if she wasn't alive or she was somewhere else, he would know. And he probably wouldn't have told Castile, but he would have told like Kieran.
I think you have too much trust in this because
you don't have enough trust.
Listen, no, okay. So it's Kieran's dad asking where she is. Where is she? And then Kieran says, what felt like a fist punched through my chest. Where is she? My father had asked the question, but all I could hear was Kaz's roar, demanding the same. That was roughly when the inner rise had been destroyed. And then he says she's at Elysium, but then he says if Colas can still get to her, she's not safe. So,
But she's safer than she would be if she's with Niktos and Syrah.
listen, I have no trust right now. So,
anyways, when Castile was like fighting Kieran, and then all of a sudden he like felt like that something was wrong, and he's like, I can't feel her.
No. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. You were acting so calm, but the minute that I heard that, I was like distraught because I'm like, she.
I didn't think she was dead because the imprint on his hand was still there. I mean, it faded, but it was still there, which meant she was still alive. I never thought that she was dead or that she was going to actually die. But when he said those words, because he doesn't know what's happening to her, that really got to me. It was like in WandaVision when Wanda was like, Wanda went to see Vision's body and she's like, I can't feel you, because in previous movies, she's like, all I can feel is you. It was giving that, and that's really what got me. I'm like, that's so sad.
It's like when the mating bond broke. I think that you weren't as fully invested as I was because I was distraught.
Okay, I'm gonna be so for real. I was in a low-key kind of a reading slump when I was reading this book. So it took me like a week to read it. I was in a reading slump, but I wanted to read it because I love Castile, I love Poppy, and I love these books. But I had just read all of Flesh and Fire, and I was like, oh my!
I should have told you to like wait, because the Flesh and Fire series took a lot from me too, and I couldn't read for a while after that. So I should have told you to take a little break.
But it did make some things easier to understand, going from the Flesh and Fire series right to that one, because I'm like, oh, I remember A, B, and C happened, and I remember all these characters still because I just read it.
Yeah, that's so. You're welcome.
Thanks.
I don't understand how you weren't more distraught, because I was literally like, I can't. I'm literally dying.
I just have faith that everything's gonna be okay.
Which is, I should too, because they always end fine. Like books, like series, it's like movies. Like they always have to end. Well, not all movies end good, but like these types of books always end good. So I should be fine, but I'm really not fine.
Oh, well, when Delano died, I was like, okay. But I was in denial. I was in denial for a hot minute because I was like, he's not dead, right? Because Cassie was like, oh, and then Delano fell. And I'm like, but did he just like fall, or is he like gone?
That one was rough. That one was rough.
That one was really rough.
Not as bad as Liam, but that one was bad.
Yeah, I think because Delano's death was quick, and there was like no last words. But when Poppy finds out, there's gonna be waterworks. I'm gonna Even Kieran's like, when she finds out, this is not gonna be good.
That's the part, like when he died, I was like, okay, this is sad, but like somebody had to die. So like at least it's him and not like Kieran, right? But then my brain went to, once Poppy finds out, she's not gonna be okay. She's gonna go into one of those like, you know, fits that she goes into where she like literally wouldn't talk to anybody, and she was just like in her own mind the whole time, and like she wasn't talking to Kieran, she wasn't talking to Castile, and it was like, dude, you're bothering me. You need to talk to people because clearly you're having a mental issue. She's gonna do that again.
But also Delano was like her best friend. Like Castile and Kieran are different, obviously, like their bond, and we'll talk about that in a second, but like Delano was low-key her best friend. And I also wanted to cry because of Perry, which I don't know if you remember him, and you really don't care about side characters that much, but Perry and Delano were together. I think they were like married, and I'm like, Perry's gonna be so sad.
Listen, and you're like, it's fine, it'll be fine, the next book will be fine. I feel like that was just the start, the tip of the iceberg for what we're about to experience.
Yes, but also there's only a few characters that I would still be distraught about dying. Delano was one of them.
It's gonna be
So
Kieran.
I don't think Kieran's gonna die.
I feel like she would kill Kieran.
Especially not with their bond. Like, I know Colas can like detach the bond or whatever, but she can't kill Delano and Kieran.
She can, and she would.
That would just not be okay. I would be really sad if Castile died and Kieran, and honestly, Kieran's sister, and then Emil. Those 4, I don't want to die. The others,
the main 3, if they die.
I don't care about side characters. We've already discussed.
But I also don't want Niktos and Sierra to die either.
Oh yeah, true. I mean, I was kind of thinking of like from Blood and Ash, but is it Rar? I don't know how to say his name. The god that died in Primal Blood and Bone, the one that like helped him with the water.
Oh, yes. That's not his name, but I know who you're talking about. Yes.
You see it. It's like RHAR.
Yeah.
RAR. I don't know, something like that.
Rayer. I don't know.
Anyways, that I was sad because he was one of the main ones in Flesh and Fire. But I was glad it wasn't Rain. Do not want him to die. He was like my favorite side character. One of my favorite side characters in Flesh and Fire, so.
Okay. I thought that you were pretty sad when the whole Jadis thing happened with Reaver and all that stuff.
Yeah. That was I don't know if I'd say it was the saddest, but it might have been the saddest. Like, it was so freaking depressing, especially from feeding.
Colas feeding from Poppy was depressing.
Okay, yes, it was depressing, but also that happened in Flesh and Fire with like Sierra, so it's like I've seen this film before, right? It's nothing new. But seeing Jadis and Reaver in the Flesh and Fire series and then jumping straight to the From Blood and Ash series and seeing like how their lives turned out, and like how Jadis used to be this happy little girl who like was whatever, outgoing, whatever, and then to see her become like this scared young woman, like she didn't want to be alive, she didn't want to wake up, and it was so sad.
That was pretty hard. I don't know, maybe I just get so, I don't know if you've noticed this about me, but at the end of books, I get so focused in like, I get so sucked in that even if the end was like chill, I still am like, that was traumatic. Like the end of like the end of House of Flame and Shadow, Crescent City, it ended fine, right? Like it ended fine. I was still traumatized.
I think it's because these books bring us on such a journey, and we go through so much heartbreak and love and happiness and sorrow and all the things, and like all like less than a week, basically. Like we're feeling all these things, and then it ends, and you're like feeling all of those emotions afterwards to an extreme level. And also it's sad when the book ends because like, well, what am I supposed to do now? Like I just felt all these things for these characters that aren't even real, and now I have to move on. Like,
okay, that makes me so sad because now you're making me realize that we do actually have to move on after this last book comes out. Like Poppy and Castile will be no more.
Which makes me sad, but also it frees up like time to experience other characters and other storylines. So that's good. Like with Lightlark ending and From Blood and Ash ending, like those series are going to come to a close, and the Windy City series, honestly, they'll come to a close and I can reread them if I want to, but it frees up time to like meet new characters, go on other ventures, see other storylines. Okay, well, you just don't like change then.
No, I really don't. I'm too attached. I'm too attached. It's like when Throne of Glass ended. Like, do you remember that feeling that you had when you finished Kingdom of Ash? Do you remember that?
Okay, well, Throne of Glass was.
I would say this series is similar.
Okay, yeah. Except from Blood and Ash, I have to use my brain a
yeah.
lot more.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
with the prophecy that I want to talk about, and like all of these
Oh yeah, we're
characters,
supposed to be talking about theories.
yeah, and all of the characters and like how they fit into the grand scheme of things. That's why I wanted to talk about it instead of just sending voice messages, because I'm like, I need to like free my brain of this. Like, I want to know if Castile, Poppy, and Kieran, if that joining was a one-time thing, or if they're gonna continue it. Because when Kieran walked in on Poppy in the bath, he was like, "There's no expectations," and then she's like, still like, "I'm so attracted to him." Like, wow. I'm like, is this gonna continue? Like, I wonder. I kind of feel like their bond has increased. Obviously, it's not like Castile and Poppy, but it's like something.
Listen, not that I didn't love the joining, because I did. But I just it's hard because it's like it's Poppy and Castile. Like they're meant to be.
I agree. Yeah. And I'm not saying that it's like it's gonna be like a continuous thing, like it's just gonna be like the three of them as a throuple kind of thing. Even though I did was like, is that what's gonna happen? But I wonder if they're gonna like get together again.
I mean, maybe maybe when she comes back. I could totally see that happening.
I could see that too. Also, I was thinking like, you know, when they were talking about doing the joining and Castile mentioned that if Kieran found someone, they'd have to do it again. Like, so that they have the same lifetime. Like, imagine 4 of them.
I don't want to.
That's crazy. But also, I'm like, Castile better not touch another woman. I mean, Poppy can have Kieran if she wants. But Castile better not touch anyone else.
He wouldn't. That's the thing is he wouldn't.
Yeah, I know.
But I love that it's the first thing you're wanting to talk about. I didn't even go there. I did not go there.
It was one of the first things I texted you while reading this book.
Yeah, I didn't go there.
I 100% went there.
I know you did, but I did not. But now I'm thinking about it, and probably.
Yes. I mean, because they were kind of hinting at it. Another theory I wanted to mention is I think the Fates are actually the evil ones. Like, obviously, Colas is evil. Like, he's the absolute worst. Like, I can't even. But the Fates, they pretend they're good. They pretend they protect everyone. But I'm like, I feel like you're taking sides, and it's not the right one.
I agree.
Holland is a Fate. So the Fates are in Flesh and Fire and from Blood and Ash.
Okay, yes.
And they are ancients.
Yes.
The ancients that didn't go underground. And some of them want to wake the ancients. But we don't know who.
And they're the ones that Poppy went to talk to.
Yes.
Okay.
But their actions make it seem like they're on like Colas's side. Like when they're like, is there no repercussions for him? Like why didn't Colas have any repercussions for stealing his brother's like primal of life embers? Like why did how is it okay that they switched, right?
Yep.
And how is it okay that he's doing all of these things? They're like, well, there is consequences because he is alone forever. And I'm like, that's not good enough. Like,
no,
not good enough at all for anything he's done. Like, that's just not okay.
This is like, it's like whenever there's a higher being, right? Like, it always is played off as like you have to listen to them and they're good. They're all good and they're great and they like make sure that the world goes around and like all this stuff. And then they do things that support the villain and then it's like, okay, wait, but aren't you really the villain because you're allowing this to happen?
Yeah. And on that note, when they're like, oh, but he's alone his whole life. Well, they allowed him to bring Satori back once, right? And then they couldn't get her back for him because her soul was with Ethos, is that his name?
Yeah.
And Keela, I believe who it was. But then when they had the chance to grab Satoria's soul and bring her back, they did. Even though Poppy wanted to give Satoria, or not Poppy, Poppy is Satoria. Sierra wanted to give Satoria a choice, and the Fates were like, no, we're bringing her back, knowing that it would awaken Colas, because they're like, there's no other way. It's kind of like in Avengers Endgame when Doctor Strange like thinks of all these possibilities.
Yep.
And he's like, there's no other way, and he gives the Infinity Stone to Thanos.
Yep. That's exactly what I thought of. Like, that's like, so stupid.
There has to be another way. What do you mean there's no other way? I looked through all the possibilities. Nothing's set in stone. Even the Fates said that. There's like things that can change. Like, they're like, Sierra's gonna die. She didn't die. Okay.
Well, not yet.
I mean, I don't think she's gonna die now. She went through the whole freaking Flesh and Fire series and she survived, so
I don't know, nobody's safe. So the Fates make me so mad. When she went to talk to them and they were like, you know, she's asking all these questions, trying to figure it out, and like just basically trying to solve the problems. And they're basically like, you're being a child.
Yeah, they're like, you don't understand. And she's like, yeah, you're right. I don't understand how you guys are cowards. Like, what are you doing? When she called them that, I was like, go off, girl, go off.
And then there was the one, though. Who was the one that nobody liked?
I can't remember his name, but the fact that he like low-key started choking her, and I'm like, dude, this girl's supposed to be like your one chance.
That was just a wild scene just in general, because Castiel's over here freaking out, losing his mind, and Poppy is just trying to solve the problems. And I was just like, why is everybody acting like children right now? Like, why is literally everybody being stupid?
I love how they're like not even considering any other possibilities. They're like, okay, so this is how it's gonna go. And I'm like, you guys don't know anything. Like, what are you even talking about?
Anything.
It's so annoying. Okay, Holland gets a pass because he's married to Penelope. Okay, I like them. He's fine. He's a little annoying sometimes, but he's fine. The others,
yeah, no. I really don't get, still to this day, and I've read both the series, the whole Satoria thing, and like who, why does she have to keep being reborn? First of all, so is Poppy really Poppy, or is Poppy Satoria?
Okay,
is
so
Seraphina really Seraphina, or is she Satoria? You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Okay, so Satoria's soul was in Seraphina's, but it was like two souls in one body. So Seraphina wasn't Satoria, but her body held Satoria's soul until they took it out with that star that held Icos's dad, right?
Yeah.
So Seraphina is Seraphina. And then they put it, she wanted to give Satoria a choice, but then the Fates intervened, took the soul, and then hundreds of years later, Poppy was born, but it was with Satoria's soul. So Poppy is Satoria to an extent.
See, that's what it's confusing, and I don't like it, because I'm like, is Poppy really Poppy? That's the part about, like, was in the prophecy, was it foretold that it was going to be Poppy Bellafor, or whatever the heck, now she's Denier, Poppy Denier, or was it foretold to be Satoria? That's what's like confusing, and also bothers me.
Yeah, also the prophecy didn't mention any names. So that's what I'm saying. Yeah. But to answer your other question, they wanted her to be reborn because they're like, she's the only one that can kill Colas, because a primal can die if someone they love stabs them. And it was mentioned so many times, like, he doesn't love her, he's obsessed with her. Like, it's not love, it's obsession. They mentioned it so many times, but they're still like, oh, she can kill him because he loves her. And then he literally ends up trying to kill her, even though it was literally Satoria's soul, the one that he's been hunting for how many years. Because, like, I actually don't give a fuck anymore. And I want power. So the Fates are stupid. I hate them.
Listen,
this is all their fault.
Well, would Poppy have been born without Satoria's soul?
No.
That's what I'm asking.
No, she wouldn't. And
see, that's what bothers me.
And that's why it's like, well, yeah, we wish that Satoria had a choice, and we wish that we weren't in this position, but if we weren't, Poppy wouldn't have been born. And Castiel made that point at some point in the book. He's like, I'm sad that their plan failed. Like, Syria and Nyctos's plan failed to save the world and stop this prophecy from becoming true. But also, if they did succeed, then he wouldn't have Poppy.
It's all kinds of freaking twisted.
I know. That's why I needed to, talk about it. Okay. Any other thoughts before we get to the prophecy?
Can we talk about the fact that what's-her-face is still alive? Isabeth, or whatever the crap her name is. When she showed up, I was like, what the fuck?
I got flashbacks from Jack.
I'm like, you were the most hated character. What the fuck? Why are you back?
I hate her so much. I was like, she is the Vesa of this generation. Okay.
Also, I just want to talk about the fact that I should have mentioned this earlier and I didn't, and I'm sorry. But it bothers me and makes me so sad. I think this is the other reason why I was so like traumatized. That Poppy basically put the spell or whatever on Castile and was like, you're not allowed to come with. And I was like, you guys already have such a riff going right now. I think that's why I was so emotionally traumatized, is because I'm like, that's probably why. Because it's like, there wasn't communication. And then she basically went to go fight the biggest enemy and said that Castile could not come. And put a spell on him and whatever.
Which it's funny because she thought that she could handle him by herself when the primal of death and the primal of life couldn't, along with all the other gods, couldn't handle him. Like, they barely got him entombed, like, doing it together. And she's like, oh, just waltz right in there and kill him. Like, use your brain. That's not gonna happen. But on the other hand, I understand why she didn't want Castile to come, because Colas wouldn't have hesitated to kill Castile, right? Like, he talked with Poppy, like, whatever. But if Castile and Kieran were there, they would have died immediately. But it was like a lose-lose situation. So during that, I was like stressed. I was like, I don't know what I want to happen, and I don't know what's gonna happen. Like, there's pros and cons to each. I honestly could not decide what I wanted.
This is why I think I was so traumatized. This is giving, I'm going to sacrifice myself for the realm, not let Castile be a part of it. And then Castile lost his marbles, doesn't know if she's okay. And their communication, like, I just feel like as soon as they see each other, you think that it'd be this great, like, reunion. I feel like it's just gonna be this, like, big blow up. And I'm just not ready for that. I don't think, like, when he lays eyes on her, everything's gonna be fixed. Like, I don't think that. But I think they just need to go on, like, a little vacation. Like, just the two of them. Poppy can get him sorted out. They need to communicate, because that was the hardest part of this book, is the fact that they weren't communicating, and Kieran was also in on that. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? You guys just need to say what happened.
Yeah, but in Kieran's defense, he wanted to tell Poppy right away. But Castile said, like, don't. And Kieran's like, I'm going to tell her eventually, so you better tell her. And that just made me so mad, because it wasn't that big of deal for Poppy to, like, know that what she did when she was under Colas's influence. Like, she has the right to know that. I understand it hurt Castile, but they just needed to talk about it. Like you said, communication. Like, Kieran's like, just ask her about it. And he's like, no, like, I know she doesn't trust me, blah, blah. And I'm like, I love you, Castile, but you're acting like a child right now. You need to talk to your wife.
Yeah, literally. Like, and it's the fact, too, that Poppy was talking to Kieran about it behind, like, she was trying to, like, feel him out. It's like, oh my God, you guys just need to be locked in a room and talk.
Yeah. But if they're locked in a room, they're not going to be talking.
Exactly. I know. Anyways, yes, we can get to prophecy now, but that part made me so sad.
Okay. So there's 3 parts to the prophecy. So I was thinking I could just read one part at a time and we can just talk about it. Because I had to reread this prophecy so many times. Like, every single time it got brought up, I read it like it was the first time reading about it. Because, like, I don't understand what is going on. Like, I can't even guess right now.
Okay. Yup. Same.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Okay, so the first part is, from the desperation of golden crowns and born of mortal flesh, a great primal power rises as the heir to the lands and seas, to the skies and all the realms, a shadow in the ember, a light in the flame, to become a fire in the flesh, for the one born of the blood and the ash, the bearer of 2 crowns, and the bringer of life to mortal, god, and draken. Draken? Draken. A silver nest with blood seeping from its jaws of fire, bathed in the flames of the brightest moon to ever be birthed, will become one.
Okay, so first of all, I'm just realizing that the prophecy is literally the names of the books, but
Yeah. Oh, that's true.
Maybe I should have figured that out sooner. That's awkward.
I mean,
Anyways.
I got that for a few of them.
Oh my god, that's funny. Okay.
Like the Born of Blood and Ash. I'm like, oh, that's where that came from.
And you said light in the flame, and you
Light
said
in the flame, a shadow in the ember,
yep.
fire in the flesh.
Yeah.
Do you think that's talking about ethos? Because he created the Draken. What did you just say?
Draken. Bro, I don't know. I'm so confused. I thought the whole prophecy was about Poppy. So I don't.
No, because but then I thought when I was reading it in the Flesh and Fire series, I thought it was about Syrah.
It's about Satoria. It's about Satoria because she was in Seraphina. She's in Poppy. It's about Satoria. Why is the light following me?
So, Colas mentioned how the prophecy has a beginning, a middle, and the end. So the past, the present, and the future. So the first paragraph is the past. The second is the present, and the third is the future. So this paragraph would be in the past.
Okay, read it again. Or read the first like 4 lines.
Okay. From the desperation of golden crowns and born of mortal flesh, a great primal power rises as the heir to the lands and seas, to the skies and all the realms. A shadow in the ember, a light in the flame, to become a fire in the flesh. That's the first few. And then it goes on to say, for the one born of the blood and the ash, the bearer of 2 crowns, and the bringer of life to mortal god and draken. A silver nest with blood seeping from its jaws of fire, bathed in the flames of the brightest moon, to ever be birthed, will become one. See,
Okay,
the bringer of life,
2 crowns.
That could be ethos, though, because he was the primal of life, and then he was considered the primal of death.
Okay.
So he wore 2 crowns. And he created the draken and the mortals, right? Because he's a primal. So it'd be the ancients. Family tree time. It'd be the ancients, the primals, the gods, and then the mortals.
But was he, my god, was he immortal though? He wasn't.
No, he was created
by said. What's the first line again?
From the desperation of golden crowns and born of mortal flesh.
Yeah. So it's got to be somebody in the flesh. Mortal.
But yeah. But the ancients did create the primals from their skin, right? Like they used part of themselves.
Bro, I don't remember that.
No, I'm pretty sure that's how the primals were made because they wanted to separate their powers so they don't lose themselves to it.
I don't think it's Evos. I am not with you on that.
Who is it? Because I don't think it's Syrah. Because I think okay, let's put this on pause and then I'll read the next part, okay?
Okay.
This is the one that's what I think is the present, the middle part.
Okay.
When the stars fall from the night, the great mountains crumble into the seas, and old bones raise their swords beside the gods. Didn't Syrah raise an army of the dead, and it was just bones?
Did she?
Yeah.
But also the mountains were crumbling with Poppy. The cliffs kept crumbling with Poppy. Okay, keep going. Sorry, I'm distracted.
The false one will be stripped from glory as the great powers will stumble and fall. That's Colas.
Okay.
False one. Okay. Right? I think we can agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Some all at once, and they will fall through the fires into a void of nothing. Those left standing will tremble as they kneel, will weaken as they become small, as they become forgotten. For finally the primal rises, the giver of blood and the bringer of bone, the primal of blood and ash.
Is she the primal of blood and ash?
I think so.
She had this long ass title, and I don't remember.
I think she is because I remember reading Flesh and Fire that they mentioned that she's blood and ash, and I'm like, what does that even mean? I mean, I know we read from Blood and Ash, and I'm like, what does that even mean? But it's because it's life and death. pretty sure.
Poppy is the primal of blood and ash, also known as the primal of blood and bone and the queen of flesh and fire. She's the reborn soul of Satoria and is the true primal of life and death, destined to bring both destruction and renewal.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense because it says the false one will be stripped from glory, and then it says a few lines. It says, those left standing will tremble as they kneel, will weaken as they become small, as they become forgotten. And the gods, like Syrah, she's forgotten.
Okay.
Then it says, for finally their primal rises, the giver of blood and the bringer of bone, their primal of blood and ash. So, like, they get forgotten. I mean, a lot of people don't know Addies. So, like, a lot of those gods get forgotten. And then Poppy gets born, right?
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. Do you have another theory?
Listen, again, I say I thought this whole prophecy was about Poppy the whole time.
I don't think it's all about Poppy, though.
It's about Satoria, who was in the past, is in the present, and will be in the future.
Yeah, because, I mean, they have said that Satoria is, like, everything. Like, she means everything for, like, in this prophecy, basically.
Yeah, so that's.
But I don't think every single word is about her. I think it can like surround her and like it includes her. But like Colas was in this, obviously. That would be for sure.
Okay.
Okay, so the next two, well, it's like the last part, but I separated it into two parts. Two born of the same misdeeds, born of the same great and primal power in the mortal realm, a first daughter with blood full of fire, fated for the once promised king, and the second daughter with blood full of ash and ice, the other half of the future king. Together they will remake the realms as they usher in the end. That was the first part of that last part. And at first I thought it was Syrah was like a first daughter who was fated for the once promised king. And then Poppy was the second daughter with blood full of ash and ice, the other half of the future king. But then what if it's like Millicent is the first daughter?
Right, that's what I was thinking.
And then Poppy's the second one.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Because Isbeth had two daughters.
Yep.
Well, that's the theory in the book, is that she had two daughters, knowing that they needed to have two daughters. Yep. And then it says two born of the same misdeeds. And obviously...
Wait, pause. Is it two? Does it say, I was listening, but thinking about the rest of it. Does it say daughters? Two? It doesn't say daughters.
Yeah. Well, it says two born of the same misdeeds, born of the same great and primal power in the mortal realm. And that's...
What if that says Syrah's and Nyktos' two boys?
But then it says a first daughter.
Oh.
Yeah. But, I mean, what's the son's name? Their father?
Malik and...
Iris.
That's what it was. Thank you.
Okay, so it's Iris, and obviously... same misdeed. You didn't want to have kids with Isbeth. So I think that's about Millicent and Poppy, probably, right?
Yep, agree.
Okay, and then the last part is, and so it will begin with the last chosen blood spilled. The great conspirator birthed from flesh and fire of the primals will awaken as the harbinger and the bringer of death and destruction to the lands gifted by the gods. Beware, for the end will come from the west to destroy the east and lay waste to all which lies between. Which that is about Castile.
Now we know it's about Castile, yes.
Yeah, because Poppy was the bringer of death and destruction, because when she was in danger, Castile lost his shit and then became that. So the last two I understand pretty well. It's the two other ones. The first two that I'm like, I don't really...
So, am I understanding it correctly that because Castile is the primal of death and destruction, if Poppy doesn't come, like, is that the whole plot? Is that Colas is going to use that and make Castile ruin the realms because he is the primal of death and destruction and can destroy everything? Is that how the realms are going to be destroyed?
I have no idea, but I know that in Flesh and Fire, Colas thought the prophecy was about him. Obviously, he's self-centered. He thinks everything is about him, but
it's not about him, though. It's
not about... Maybe like one part is about him, but he's not...
I think it's about Castile and Poppy.
Well, yeah, the last two are or that last part was definitely a Castile. And then the one before that, I'm pretty positive it's about Millicent and Poppy. But like the first two, I don't know.
I'm telling you, it's all about Satoria. So
Well, everything does surround Satoria.
So it's about Serafina in the first one. It's not Ethos, I'm telling you. It's not.
Okay. I could see
I don't think it is.
It says from the desperation of golden crowns and born of mortal flesh, and her parents, like her family, was like desperate to fulfill the bargain. That's the word I was thinking of.
Yep.
With up the primal of death, which they didn't know that he's not the, and he's a primal of death and the whole thing. But so yeah, I definitely can see that that's Sierra too. But I don't understand how it says the bringer of life to mortal god and dragon. Is that because she can bring life back to them?
Hang on, I'm reading something.
Okay. Thought I just had a moment there, but you didn't seem too excited. So I was like, right? Dead.
I'm sorry. Say it again. I'm listening now. Say it again.
Okay, it says the bringer of life to mortal god and dragon. And is that because she can bring life back to them and she has restored life to each one of them?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I feel like the second part, because it says, and old bones raised their swords beside the gods. I really feel like that's when Sierra raised like an army of the dead to fight Colas in the last little bit of Born of Blood and Ash. And then it says the false one will be stripped from glory as the great powers will stumble and fall. I really feel like the middle part is like about like the last battle that they had with Colas. And then you know that little part at the end of that book when it like has like a rundown of everything that happened in between the end of Born of Blood and Ash and then From Blood and Ash?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what this part's saying is those left standing will tremble as they kneel, will weaken as they become small, as they become forgotten. And that little thing is like basically what they're talking about in that little blip of like, oh, what happened between these two books, basically. And then for finally the primal rises, the giver of blood and the bringer of bone, the primal of blood and ash. And then that's where we get into From Blood and Ash. So the first two are like about Sierra and like the whole story, basically. And then the second two is about Poppy, Millicent, Castile, and all that.
My brain hurts. But also, I'm
starting to actually understand it better now. I love talking it through.
I found prophecy interpretations. Who knows how accurate this is? But this may answer some of our questions. Okay. From the desperation of golden crowns and born of mortal flesh, a great primal power rises as the heir to the land and seas, to the skies and all the realms. Oh, I was right. I'm a genius. According to this is referring to Serafina as she's the primal of life. She was born from the desperation of the king and queen of mortal flesh. Okay. Cool. So we're in agreement on that. A shadow in the ember, a light in the flame, to become a fire in the flesh. Reaver says this in Sierra's name in the War of Two Queens. These are also in the titles that Sierra is given during her coronation. Sierra has the embers of life given to the bloodline by Ethos. Okay. Then the next part, when the stars fall from the night, the great mountains crumble into the seas, and old bones raise their swords beside the gods, the false one will be stripped from glory. This is referring to the future fight with Colas, the false primal of life. Old bones might be related to Sierra's guards, the skeletons she was able to summon. So you're right there. Until two born of the same misdeeds, this is talking about Iris and Isabeth's daughters. Okay, Poppy and Millicent. So we're right there. Because they were both born out of sexual assault.
Yeah.
Okay. A first daughter with blood full of fire fated for the once promised king. That's Millicent. And then the second daughter is Poppy.
She's promised to the once promised king, or she's fated for the once promised king. That's Malik.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
People listening to this are like, duh, like, no shit.
We may sound dumb. Okay. Together they will remake the realms and usher in the end, foreshadowing of more battles. There's no answer on that one. And so it will begin the last chosen blood spilled. When Poppy's blood was spilled after she was shot and ascended, her calling started, and the first symptom of primalhood emerge. Okay. A silver beast with blood seeping from its jaws of fire, bathed in the flames of the brightest moon to ever be birthed, will become one.
Dude, you're jumping all over the place here.
I know, I'm sorry. Several people think this is Nyktos and Syrah producing heirs. Nyktos can shift into a silver wolf, and Syrah states his form is a silver beast. Additionally, a part of Syrah's consort's title is the brightest moon. And the great powers will stumble and fall, some all at once. Once they will fall through the fires into a void of nothing. Those left standing will tremble as they kneel, will weaken as they become small, and they become forgotten. The fall of most primals into their slumber, the destruction of the mortal realms, and the history being eventually erased and changed by the Ascended. In From Blood and Ash and Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, Castile tells Poppy that the Ascended stole the gods from the Atlanteans to further their agenda of the right and the maiden. That first, second, and third sons and daughters have sacred duties to the gods, and the Ascended are the direct descendants of these gods. Okay, and then finally, the primal rises, the giver of blood and the bringer of bone, the primal of blood and ash. This is what Nyktos calls Poppy at the end of War of Two Queens. She is the heir of both the primal of death and life, which are represented by blood and ash. So blood is the life force, and ash is what remains after death. So that's what that means. Did I answer all the questions?
Honestly, I think we figured it out basically pretty much before you read that, except for the silver nest with blood seeping from its jaws of fire. That part that's talking about like Nyktos and Syrah and them having kids. That part I didn't understand, but other than that, I think we pretty much got it. You know, I was very confused about it, but now it's like all clicking in my brain. I just needed to talk it through.
Yeah, I think we need to read Miss Bella's diary before the next book, and then I think we'll be set.
Would you rather experience the battle they had on the Rise in the last book, or would you rather have to experience Colas in Poppy's body?
I have too many internal thoughts that tear me apart. I don't need something to add to that.
Okay, no, but like you wouldn't be Poppy. You'd be like watching it. Like you'd be like Castile and Kieran on.
Oh, I don't want to watch that either.
Yeah, so I think I'm gonna say the Rise on that one.
Yep.
Even though that was traumatic as well. I was stressing.
It was also traumatic. Yes.
I was stressing. I was like, someone's gonna die.
Yeah, that was pretty traumatic. This was Reading Between the Lines. Thank you so much for listening. We just solved the world's problems like we did. We always do that. Anyways, also check out our Instagram and our TikTok because we have a collaboration with the Spicy Romance Book Club shop. Emma's actually sporting her sweatshirt right now, I think. So
really comfy. It says, drink coffee, avoid people, read books, which is basically my life motto. So
yeah, so see, you should go get one. You get 15% off if you use our link. So that's in our bio. I don't know where it is in TikTok. But
I can't add links on TikTok. I don't know what's going on. So it's just like the link tree. It's in
Linktree.
Our Linktree.
Okay, done. Well, that's that. I don't think there's anything else to talk about. So I don't think I missed anything. Now my brain hurts after talking about the prophecy. So, okay.